A Michigan man accused of killing 5 people before turning up dead Friday had a documented history of domestic abuse and was locked in a bitter divorce battle, according to court records. 39-year-old Chad Hickman was convicted last year of fourth-degree child abuse and contributing to the delinquency of children stemming from a 2010 case. Other charges, including 2 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct, were dismissed. Now, the New York Post reports his ex-wife accused Hickman in divorce filings of using threats of physical violence, sexual assault, and
We're coming to you
control.
next.
The marriage was dissolved in July of 2025, but the legal battle was still ongoing. On Friday, police say Hickman killed 5 people and critically injured 2 others. Let's welcome in
You're
a
up, sir.
American economist and a premier expert on crime and the Second Amendment. He's also the founder and president of the Crime Prevention Research Center. John Lott, welcome to Victory News, sir.
Oh, it's great to talk to you. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Now, Chad Hickman had several violent charges against him before he acted out with his shooting. This seems to be a question that we have every time there's a tragedy like this. Could this tragedy have been headed off before it even happened?
Well, I mean, if somebody has a violent criminal record and they've been convicted, it's illegal for them to go and have guns. And the problem is that it's about as easy to go and obtain guns illegally as it is to go and obtain illegal drugs. And so the question you have to have is kind of what's your backup plan? What do you go and do in order to try to protect people when you're not going to be able to stop them from either getting illegal guns or illegal drugs? And often police, while they're extremely important, anybody who's read my academic research knows that I think police are the single most important factor for reducing crime. I think the police themselves understand that they virtually always arrive on the crime scene after the crimes occurred. And the question is letting individuals be able to go and try to protect themselves.
All right, Michigan Senate candidate Abdul El-Sayed has been letting his policies show in political interviews the past few years. Listen to these sound bites.
Are you in favor of public ownership models like the one Bernie introduced?
So I want to actually take it a step further.
Okay.
I agree that we need public ownership, but I also agree that we need some system of public control.
Do police really need to use guns? Do we need as much?
He also says he's ready to tax middle-class Americans to pay for social health care for all. John, no guns, less police, public property, and companies. Does this sound more like socialism or communism to you?
Well, I'm an economist. You'd like to think people had kind of learned how well the government can go and operate things. I've worked in the federal government. People's pay increases based on how many years they've been there. They can't get fired. I would think people would realize you don't work as hard. I mean, if you were guaranteed your job and your salary increased each year that you were there and they couldn't fire you, my guess is you probably wouldn't work as hard as you would otherwise. I don't think most people would want to have the government make the computers for us or go and make cars or other types of things. The irony is for him with regard to the grocery stores that he's going to build in New York City, he's contracting out for private companies to run the grocery stores, which I think is kind of ironic. I mean, if he really is a socialist, if he really believes the government can run these things better, why is he going to private companies to go and run the grocery stores that he's putting together? But look, as far as the other issues go, if you look at the people who are the most likely victims of violent crime, poor people, blacks, Hispanics who live in high crime areas, they're very strongly supportive of police. There was a survey a little while ago in Chicago asking whether people would support federalizing law enforcement there like Trump had done in D.C. and in Memphis. And Hispanics and blacks strongly supported that. The people who were against it overwhelmingly, like by 88% or so, were white liberals. So the people who are the likely victims of violent crime, they understand the importance of being able to go and be protected by the police. But the people who aren't that affected can go and live in their, ivory towers there and kind of, the irony is these Democrats claim that they care about blacks, they care about the poor.
Yeah.
and you'll have somebody like Alvin Bragg or others who go and say that the percentage of blacks in prison should be no more than their percentage of the population. If they make up 13% of the population, they shouldn't make up more than that in the prison. Who do they think is murdering these other blacks? 90% of black murders are done by other blacks. Over 70% of black violent crime victims are by blacks. And so if you make it so that these black criminals don't have to worry about being caught and punished, you're going to have more black victims. Criminals tend to commit crimes against people who are like themselves. And I would hope they would care at least as much about the victims as they do about the criminals.
Oh, great point, John. So be sure to learn more about John and his insightful work by visiting crimeresearch.org. And you can follow him on X at John R. Lott Jr. John, thanks for joining us today here on Victory News, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mike.